Welcome, everyone. This is a little CFA lesson that I'm doing real quick and wanted to share with you what cross default is. This is very important for investors because it's very possible that you might be in foreclosure on a property and not even know that you could lose other properties. So in the deed of trust or mortgage, there's a clause, and I have it here for you, called the cross default provision. So it says, borrower's default or breach under any note or agreement in which the lender has an interest shall be a breach under the security instrument, and lender may invoke any of the remedies permitted by the security instrument. So the security instrument is the deed of trust. That's recorded with the county. It's attached to the property. And so you're giving your property as collateral, right? That's what a deed of trust or mortgage is. And it's for the loan that you got from the lender. So default obviously is when you're over 30 days behind on the mortgage or you don't upkeep the property. If you breach any of the clauses in the deed of trust or mortgage, they can say that you're in default under the terms of the loan and start foreclosure. So why is this cross default, right? Default, we know what that means. It means we're either in default on the terms of the loan or the mortgage payments itself, any terms of the loan. Cross default is really a powerful word. It means that if you're in default over here, you could be in default over here. But how does that happen? Here's how it happens. Let's say you have more than one mortgage with the same bank. This is where the problem all starts, right? If you have more than one mortgage with one bank or lender, then they could say that, hey, we have this loan and this loan, or maybe many loans. And let's say you have a problem with just one property and you get behind on the mortgage, or there's some kind of problem, like a physical problem with the property. Maybe the tenants trashed it and you think, I'm just going to let it go to foreclosure. Many people did this in 2009. And this is why this came up, as I had a client who was told by a CPA to let the property go in foreclosure. They called it strategic foreclosure, which is all the same thing. It's a foreclosure. They were saying, let it go into foreclosure. And when I knew this person, I said, don't you have other loans with this bank? Oh, yeah. So I pulled up the deed of trust, and that wasn't their deed of trust, but that's the same language in every standard deed of trust, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conventional loan deed of trust. That paragraph's always there. So if you get behind on the mortgage or you breach the loan terms in some kind of way, you're in default. Default is pre-foreclosure. So you're in default on property A, let's say, and because the property needs work or has very little equity, or like I said, maybe you're having trouble with the tenants and it's just not worth it to you and you're going to let it go. Or maybe you have a partner who won't help anymore and you can't afford to keep the property on your own. And let's say property B, also financed by the same bank, it's got cash flow, it's got plenty of equity. So the lender can actually say, well, you're in default over here on property A, but we see that property B, which we also have an interest in, right? Interest in, meaning they have the debt on that property too, or maybe they bought the debt from some other bank, like the Countrywide B of A whole thing, right? So the lender can actually start foreclosure on property B because it's a better asset to secure the debt on property A that you're no longer paying and that they see is going to be difficult to get their money out of. Like maybe you're upside down. So back in 2009, I saw this a lot. And to have a client in this day and age come into me and say they want to do a strategic foreclosure, and what do I think? I said, I think you don't want to lose the good property for the bad property. So the bank knows you're going to step up to the plate if you've got a sweet property that they can go after. So be very careful. Number one, as investors, I know it's difficult because once a lender knows your package, you want to go back to them, or maybe you're very loyal to Chase or B of A or one of those bigger banks. You've got all your accounts there. There are plenty of reasons to want one lending institution to do all your loans, but you're at risk that if something goes wrong with one property, they can go after the property, which basically will force you to sell something to make good on that bad property. And we all eventually will have a dud property that, it would be much easier to let it go. But as you build your portfolio, you just cannot afford to do that. So be careful. Please do not go to just one lender. I'm a broker, so I can spread it around. But if you go direct to a lender and you have too many loans with them, they can come after the sweet properties to take care of the bad debts on the bad properties. So some advice to you, my friends and fellow investors. Have a great week. And if I can do anything for you, please reach out. Thanks.